subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button.
There is no such thing as a bad deal. I know that sounds crazy. I know you're saying, Prince, what are you talking about? I'm going to take a break this episode on finances just to kind of get out my thought process of why there's no such thing as a bad deal. So if you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and make sure.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, you are now tuned into the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. I know it sounds crazy. You're saying, Prince, what are you talking about? A bad deal? What do you mean? How does that make sense? But I want you to bear with me. Today, we're going to talk about the types of deals, whose fault is it of a bad deal, who complains about a bad deal, and what type of people agrees to a bad deal. So let's first start off with the types of deals. There are three types of big deals in negotiations. You have a win-win, which everybody wants to get to. A win-win when both sides feel like they won something or they got something out of the deal. That's what everybody should try to negotiate to. Not everybody's ethical. Not everybody have character. The next step you got is a win-lose. You got one side that felt like they won. The other side felt like they lost. So you have a win-loss situation, right? And then the last one is loss-loss, where both sides just like, hey, we both wanted to negotiate to win, but we feel as though, hey, we both got to take a loss on this for the greater good. I.e., something like they always like to use that in is like budget cuts or different type of negotiations where, hey, I got to take a salary cut, you got to take a salary cut so that everybody can get to a win-win situation, because if we don't, somebody's going to lose their career, their job. So that's the three types. Win-win, win-lose, lose-lose. Now you got to ask yourself, who agrees to a bad deal? Why would you, in your right mind, agree to a bad deal? Right? Nobody in their right mind would openly agree to a bad deal. Some people say, hey, well, I took a pay cut so I could own the rights to something. That's not really negotiating a bad deal. That's negotiating maybe a long-term deal. But if you know this is a bad deal, who will sign a bad deal? I'm going to tell you exactly the type of people who sign a bad deal. The reason why, or the people who sign and agree to a bad deal, they're doing this for two reasons. Well, the main two reasons. One, they don't know. Hey, I didn't know it was a bad deal, right? Or two, it is the best thing they can get at this time. It's the best thing to all their, let's take a musical artist or let's take an author or whatever. They go out and they're trying to get their book out, or they're trying to get their album out. They're trying to get their music. Maybe they're trying to get a job or whatever. And they're looking around. They want to get paid $20 an hour. Let's say if you're looking for a job, you want to get paid $20 an hour, but there are no $20 an hour jobs available. But there is someone offering you a $10 an hour job. So guess what? You say, well, that's why I use this graphic for the people that can see this. A bad deal is better than no deal in some people's eyes. I'd rather go out here and get paid $10 an hour and be able to make a living versus, having no job. So guess what? You go take that crappy job for $10 an hour. Not saying that it's crappy, but crappy to your standards. You wanted $20 an hour. You went off and you signed a deal for $10 an hour due to the fact that there was nothing else available, right? So in business, when people negotiate and they openly sign a bad deal, it's usually the best thing they have going for them at that time. Or it's due to ignorance. They just don't know. But usually it's the best thing they have going at that time, right? Those are the type of people who sign a bad deal. Now let's get into it. Who complains? Who complains about the bad deal? The person that usually complains about the bad deal, in most cases, is usually the person either they won or they felt like they could have got a better deal somewhere else. For prime example, I signed away 80% of my rights, hypothetically. I signed away 80% of my rights for my television show because the company was willing to give me $1 million in advance. In exchange for giving me $1 million in advance, they asked me for 80% rights to my television show. And up to this point, my television show hasn't made a penny. So I said, what? I get $1 million and I get to keep 20% of my show? Awesome deal. You sign a deal. Now the show goes on and they make billions of dollars. Guess what I'm not going to say? Man, I got a bad deal. I got a bad deal. The company stole this from me. They took this from me. They used me. They used my arrogance. They used my knowledge against me or whatever, right? So it's usually the winner. I had this great big show later on, but now I'm complaining. I'm saying it's a bad deal. Notice the artists that usually say they got a bad deal are ones who done very well. Now, when the artist wins or the person wins, let's say they gave me $1 million for my show and my show only made $100. You think I'm going to complain? No, I wouldn't complain. So the people that complain about the bad deals are usually the winners. Now, whose fault is it? This is what I mean. There's no such thing as a bad deal. If you was in your right mind, you had your right mind, and if this is the only deal you had in front of you, how was it a bad deal? It was the best thing you had on the table at that time. Just because this was the best thing you had on your table, and then later on you figured out new things, or later on you got around some right people and you found a better deal somewhere else, does that mean the original deal was bad? Just because now you have more access. Because we say about investing, everybody loves, like if I was a genius, I would have sold all of my Zoom stock and bought a bunch of green energy stock. It's very easy to do that when you're looking in the rearview mirror, right? Very easy to do that when you're looking in the rearview mirror. You know what I mean? So when you were sitting down at the table, does it mean it's a bad deal just because you had limited resources and you didn't know? Is that my fault? If I come to you and say, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million for 80% of your rights, and you're like, what? I would love $1 million. And I give it to you for $1 million, and then you come to figure out that it's really worth $10 million. Is that my fault? It's in human nature. It's in human nature to take advantage of someone else. Look at the tiger. When the tiger see the gazelle or the zebra limping, does it go to the gazelle and say, I'm not going to eat you because I know you sprung your ankle last week? No. It's going to eat you, right? If I wanted to, let's say I have a piece of land worth $5,000, and somebody agrees to buy from me for $1,000. Now my land is worth $5,000. Somebody wants to buy from me for $1,000, and I sell it to them. Do you think people are not going to sell it to me? They're going to be like, "What? He want to get rid of it for only $1,000?" They're going to take it. Right? It's just human nature. Nobody's going to say, well, you know what, sir, I would buy this land from you for $1,000, but it's really worth $5,000. So I'm going to give you $5,000. No, they're going to give you the lowest amount. So naturally, us as mammals, not even humans, mammals, look at the jungle, look at everything that's a mammal, is preying upon somebody or something. I'm not saying it's fair. That's not something that I would do because I believe in karma. I believe in just being a good person and good coming back to you. But I'm constantly surrounded by people who want to take advantage of other people, and they would do it at all costs. Right now, if the energy company called me and said, hey, your monthly bill is $5. I'm like, what? You sure? Yes, $5. That's all you owe for the month. And I know my light bill is usually $200. Right? Just hypothetically speaking. My light bill is $200 and they tell me it's only $5. Do you think I'm going to call the energy company and say, energy company, listen here, you're drastically undercharging me. Check that again. It's usually $200. Check it again. No. You're going to pay $5 and you're going to hope that you can get by with it. It's just a human nature. right? We love a good deal, a good bargain, and we love to get over on the next person, the next company, or whatever, right? I love a good deal, but I like a win-win. I want everybody to win-win. I don't like to do bad deals and karma comes back around and you put out bad energy. You got to live with that when it comes back to bite you. I don't want that. So whose fault is it? It's nobody's fault that you or a person signed a bad deal. Usually you was right there on the verge of no deal. And you were so hell-bent on getting a deal, you was willing to take a bad deal. And if there was a good deal right next to it, you would have took the good one. Why did you sign the bad deal? Prince, I didn't know. Is that somebody's fault that you didn't know? Well, Prince, I didn't. This was the only thing I had. Is that the person's fault? They probably knew that's all you had. That's probably why they negotiated that deal with you. So I like to get rid of that notion of, oh, it's a bad deal. I got the raw end. Just because you didn't know at the time, just because you wised up as you got older, doesn't mean that a person who gave you the original deal was giving you a bad deal. Everybody is trying to negotiate a deal to win. But the best in the world wants to a deal where both people will win. All right? But anyways, guys and girls, that was me getting on my soapbox because I heard so many people talk about bad deals, and I've seen people go through it where they were just so happy to just get any deal. They'll sign anything. But as they become more profitable and as they look back on things, when it doesn't turn out to be what they thought it was going to turn out to be, then they want to say, I got a bad deal. No, they knew going into it that this deal was a little shaky, but they wanted a bad deal versus no deal. And it's nobody's fault but yours. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, until the next video, podcast, or cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me doing around the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. Thank you.